Hey folks, it's time yet again for another episode of PCG News, where we cover paper games, paper computer games, and anything from the universe of paper computer games. We've got a lot of stories to cover, so let's get to it. Alright folks, first of all I just wanted to announce that I'm going to be taking a break after this video from making PCG videos. I'll probably still do live streams, but yeah, I need to take some time off from this to focus on other things, like mainly trying to work on a project with 3D animation that I can show to my old boss so I can try to get my job back. I've been really dying to work on that, but you know, PCG videos keep taking precedence, so I've really got to take a break and just do it, get it done. That being said, I'll probably still do some live streams for a while, but I'm just not gonna work on, you know, pre-recorded videos like this for a while. That's all, quick announcement. JPGS released a Super Smash Bros. Paper computer game. This game is the first Smash Bros. PCG that's ever been made that I'm aware of. I actually had the idea for a Smash Bros. PCG before, but never got around to doing it, so it's awesome that JPGS made this a reality. And really, you know, it's inevitable that someone would make a Smash Bros. PCG because it's such a really good idea, but, you know, I think it's fitting that JPGS, you know, is the first one to do it. He's been doing so many different PCGs and making realities of lots of PCGs based on video games, so, and he did a really great job, I must say. Just like the real Smash Bros. Games, you can play as characters like Mario, Link, and Kirby, but this time there's also some PCG and paper game characters added into the mix. Zoovac appears with new moves like Zap and Laser Eyes. I don't know when Zoovac had Laser Eyes installed, but that's terrifying. The game has stages from the Smash Bros. Series like Final Destination, as well as PCG locations like Zorelta, the nation Ginkis is king of. Ginkis himself makes an appearance, of course, and there's even callouts to Detuned World by Detuned Paper, with the Traveler making an appearance along with Bait. There's also a trophy of the inventory screen from PCGs, and the PCG float by the Sonic Activist, and so many more. All in all, the art looks great, and the game lives up to its title of the first ever Super Smash Bros. PCG. Well done, JPGS. Hopefully there will be more, but for now, this game will be available on the PCG shop, link in the description below. So, Detuned Paper has released an epic remake of his classic paper game, Detuned World. Detuned World is a game that spawned a whole series of games, which is continuing to grow, and now Detuned Paper has released the ultimate edition of it, which is called Detuned World Plus. I played the whole game in one epic live stream with Detuned Paper appearing in the live stream as well. I'll link that stream in the description below, and I must say, the game is pretty epic. After being transported to a strange, different world for unknown reasons, you have to journey across it, battling strange creatures and capturing them to build a team. But it's not only the creatures that can fight each other, you and other people can fight directly too. So now that I've played the game, I have a whole team of creatures, so, you know, if anybody wants to fight my team, once you play the game and have your team, you know, hit me up on the PCG Discord, we'll fight, we'll battle. JPGS teased a new Metroid PCG for this episode of PCG News. We don't know anything about it or if it's still coming, but if so, that should be pretty cool. If it's made, this would be the second ever Metroid paper computer game, as Kurt made one called The Last of the Chozo way back in the day, but that one, you don't play as Samus, it's just like, you know, set in the Metroid universe, sorta. So this would probably be the first Metroid PCG where you actually play as Samus. 9rank 542 made a PCG called The Last Human, and had some very kind words about me at the beginning of the video.
First of all, it's heavily inspired by Paper Computer Game. Go subscribe to him, he's an awesome guy. Awesome guy. And this video would not be possible without him. I said awesome 2 times, and that's how good he is. Okay, not being rude or anything, but he is amazing. The reason I said rude is because, you know, 2 times is a low number, but he's 10 out of 10 amazing.
Aw, shucks. Thanks, 9rank. You play the game with a controller, and it takes place in a small village where there's been a zombie outbreak. You have to survive and get past the zombies. I'm digging the art style and that it's drawn on post-it notes. We need more post-it note PCGs. Also, he never says there's a connection in the game, but I can't help but wonder if this all takes place in the same universe as the Techno Zombies series. After all, Project Z starts in a small town too. I wonder. Check out my video on the Techno Zombies series if you're confused as to what I'm talking about. Yak Games released a one-page mini PCG which he played with me in a game room in the PCG Discord. Now this game is actually not really a PCG on its own. It's part of a larger PCG which hasn't been released yet, which is Chapter 2 of the Worlds Collide series. But Yak let me play this mini game early. The game, despite being so short, is one of the most psychological and interesting takes on Zoovac I've seen in a while. See, in the story, Zoovac Mobile is a cell phone game that Zoovac made about himself and published. The gameplay seems simple at first. Zoovac just has to escape from a room. Like any other one-page PCG, right? But the things start to change when you realize that the enemy stopping you from escaping is Zoovac too. Or at least, it's another aspect of his personality. And as you play, you come to realize that to escape, you're not going to have to find some clever way to defeat the enemy, but to come to grips with yourself, well, Zoovac that is, and what you've become. It's a brilliant premise, and it shows just how interesting PCGs can be when they really want to. Right now, the game can only be seen in a game room of the PCG Discord where I played the game, but eventually, hopefully, it'll be released along with Chapter 2 of Worlds Collide. Okay, so there's a newcomer to the PCG community. New member alert! She's called Blue Penguin, who sent me an email asking permission to add her game to the PCG shop. I agreed, and soon enough, the game Survival Camp appeared on the shop. There's actually two games, Survival Camp and Survival Camp 2.0. I wasn't sure if they're two versions of the same game or not, since they have the same cover, but anyway, in Survival Camp, you have to start in a camp and make your way to a castle to defeat the Zombie King. Survival Camp 2.0 features more screens so far, including a dingy cave to a room outside, and even an epic map screen. I haven't played it, so I don't know the full story of the game, but so far it seems imaginative and interesting. A really cool first game. I'd like to know a lot more about this story, and the art is really great, so really great job on your first game, Blue Penguin. Congrats and welcome to the community. I finally got to play AnStaree's epic PCG Myrmidon. Now, AnStaree made a video about Myrmidon a while ago, but I haven't been able to play it, and I couldn't watch the video until now either. Now, Myrmidon is his second PCG since he mostly makes paper games. It's the sequel to his first game, Tenebrous, which I played on a live stream. That game was a series of boss battles with storm spirits, but Myrmidon is totally different. This time around, there's a lot more story, exploration, and puzzles. You play as Bobby, which is the same main character from the first game, but this time he's waking up strapped to a table where he's being experimented on. He's being held captive by a mysterious race called the Dorgon, so obviously he's gonna have to escape. Oh, I had fun insulting the various Dorgons who imprisoned me in this game. Sure, they were more powerful than me, but if I was going down, their self-esteem was going with me. But one of the Dorgons I was actually able to convince to switch sides and become my ally. His name is Boulder, and his fellow Dorgons turned on him before he'd even agreed to join my side, calling him names and sending him to be tortured. Folks, this kind of abuse can't be tolerated in the Dorgon community. Hashtag justice for Boulder. Now, folks, Myrmidon is now available on the PCG shop. Link is in the description below. You guys should all download that and play that, because listen, see, I'm curious to see how you guys play it, because now, I was able to turn one of the Dorgons onto my side, and he, Boulder, and he became my friend, but when you guys play the game, it might turn out different, like, you might not turn him, or you might turn somebody else, Your playthrough can go totally differently from mine. That's one of the awesome things about paper computer games, so, yeah, you guys should definitely check out Myrmidon. It's a fantastic story. The art is amazing, as always for AnStaree, and, yeah. Link in the description. JCC Paper Games came out with a new PCG console, the JCC VR. It's the first ever VR PCG console. So far, the only game for it is Among Us. We don't know a whole lot about it besides that, but the video for it is linked in the description below. It does look really cool, and JCC does plan to release some games for it on the PCG shop at some point in the future, so keep an eye out for that. Yak Games made a new PCG for his friend Crusader called I Declare We Shall Crusade and Conquer. The game ties into the events of his Worlds Collide series, which is a massive crossover of characters from across the PCG universe, but it takes place during an alien invasion, which actually happened during my classic PCG series, which is just called Alien Invasion, which is super cool. I mean, what a callback. I never even finished that series. I only made the first 3 games out of 7 that were planned, but now I feel like I should. The game stars Crusader, the guy who is playing the game, and he starts out just watching TV, but discovers his neighborhood is quiet. Too quiet. The houses are empty and deserted, and he doesn't know why. Yak says he created the game as Crusader was playing it, which he said, quote, leaves a tense, suspenseful feeling for both the player and the game master. And I agree, it's a really fun way to play a PCG. I've played a lot of games like that, and they're extremely epic. Zack to the Future is one classic example. This seems like a really interesting game, and I want to know more about these side events during the Alien Invasion event. Extremely cool concept, as always, Yak. So hopefully Yak will make it available on the PCG shop at some point in the future. I would love to see it. So keep your eyes out for that, as well as for, Worlds Collide itself. Well, after playing that game, Yak's friend Crusader made his own first PCG. In his game, you play as John Wick from the movie series. He's coming home to his mansion and sees someone standing on the balcony of the mansion. What do? That seems like a really cool setup for a PCG, coming home to find a stranger in your house. How do you deal with that? Is he friend or foe? Why is he in your house? What's going on, It's a really cool and well-developed concept for his very first ever game, so well done, Crusader, and welcome aboard. Sonic the PCG announced a new series of PCGs, which he calls VCGs, or Viton computer games. They're called that because they all star his new character, Viton, a boy who's got some karate skills. The first VCG is called The Unknown Skeleton, and so far we don't know anything about it, but I'm digging the cover art. It should be interesting to see the finished game if it's ever released. Hopefully at some point we will get to see it on the PCG shop. Fingers crossed for that, and yeah. Ever wonder if Zoovac gets uncomfortable standing up all the time? Doesn't he need to sit down and have a rest? But wait, can he even sit down and have a rest? Flay's PCG made a one-page comic addressing these questions, while not quite answering them. The art is gorgeous, as always for Flay's, and it's hilarious. It makes me want to see more PCG comics from Flay's. Thankfully, this one is already available on the PCG shop. Link is in the description below. JC Toons released a new Zelda PCG. This game is called the Zelda Game Where You Do Stuff, and he's been playing it with me in the PCG Discord. You play as Link, who's been unfairly imprisoned, and you've got to escape and save the world because a moon is falling. But there's references to classic PCG lore, and unlike other Zelda games, this one doesn't take place in Hyrule. This takes place in Ooga Booga Land, which we've never seen before in any PCG, or Zelda game for that matter, so it remains to be seen, how this relates to other worlds we've seen before, where it is in space and time, whether it's an alternate universe or what, but either way, this is a pretty cool game so far, and it'll be interesting to explore more of it. Compech Dev released a new Last of the Xerelta series computer game, or at least the game is not done, but this is the alpha version of the game, so it's very much unfinished. But this is a new computer game starring my classic character of Ginkus, building on the story of the last of the Zerelta PC game, which was the first game in the series, which was a remake of my paper computer game, The Last of the Zerelta. Now, in this game, it has more, you know, sort of RPG style combat. You can buy upgrades for yourself. You can level up. How much gold do I have? All right, Radamir's shop. All right, there's stuff, but I don't think I can buy any of it. And you have to travel across the world of Shri, which is awesome. Super cool concept. Right now, there isn't a whole lot of content in the game just yet, but a lot about it is really cool. I like the combat system and, you know, getting to explore the entire planet of Shri. That is pretty awesome, even though there isn't much, you know, in it yet. But yeah, still really cool game with a lot of potential. Unfortunately, Flay's PCG will be leaving the PCG community. If you want to know what that's about, the story is in the previous video, PCG Cringe/Bullying, so be sure to check that out. But in the meantime, Flay's, before he goes, he is leaving us with a riddle about his game Aventura, which is now being put on hold, and he says he will come back and finish it 3 years from now. Hopefully that comes to pass, because, you know, as always, Flay's art is great, and I would love to see the full game. That would be amazing. But either way, he's left us with a riddle to solve, which goes a little something like this. In the fabled title lie dots and lines. In the second page is Zoovac's sign. 5 letters spell the land of the North Wing, with secrets unknown and strange happenings. These headings will explain with other rhymes. Least dominant in syllable far as Kalu's eye. Now, according to Flay's, anyone who solves that riddle and figures out what it means before the 3 years are up and he finally comes back and makes Aventura will win $300. So let's start theorizing, folks. Chris, the creator of Paper Computer Games, has been running a podcast. This podcast is called the Tell Me Where I'm Going podcast. Basically, the podcast is a story. You know, it's an ongoing story that Chris writes and he narrates it. And basically, at the end of each episode, it ends in a cliffhanger, and the audience has to help him figure out what's going to happen next. And he incorporates what the audience comes up with into the next episode, which is a pretty cool concept. And the podcast is unrelated to PCGs, except that in a recent episode, he made a reference to the PCG universe. Now, this reference, see, it's not what you expect. You see, in the recent episode, the cast of characters come upon a weird cult underground, and it's mentioned that the deity that's being worshipped by this weird cult is none other than old Croconow. Now, for those of you who don't know, Croconow is the god created by Compech Dev, the being who existed in the Antempus universe before time and space themselves, the one who is supposed to have created the entire PCG multiverse. That is a pretty darn cool reference, and a deep cut one, which, you know, a lot of people wouldn't know as of yet, sadly. So super cool reference. And the podcast, in case you guys want to listen to it, it is free. The episode where that happens is linked in the description below, so you guys should definitely check that out. And that's all the PCG goodness I've got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are the best as always. Have a great day, folks, and PCG you later.